Kia ora. Yesterday I talked about our native trees and the importance of pronouncing their names correctly, and today I'm going to focus on some of our native birds for the same reasons that many classroom groups and many childcare centres rooms are named after some of these birds, as they were for the trees that we talked about yesterday. And so when I see, for example, people call it the pūkeko room, well, that's pūkeko, pūkeko. And so I really think that we're needing to pronounce those words correctly for respect, but also because we are the role models for children, whether we're teachers in primary school or teachers in early childhood or parents trying to bring up our children with more te reo Māori. We are the role models and they're listening really carefully to us because that's how they learn. So if they hear us say pūkeko, then they'll think that's the correct way to say it. So let's take on board in a light way that responsibility to pronounce te reo Māori birds correctly. I've chosen some here that are in one of the books that we've got coming up later this year in our Reo Singalong series. I'm doing a book about native birds. So most of these are the ones in that book. So the first thing to notice is that tui has macrons over the U and the I. So we go a, e, or u, remembering the pronunciation of the vowels, putting a break after every vowel. So this is tu-e. Tu-e is probably something to do with the sound of the tu-e. So when we say tui, which everyone does, just maybe see whether it's not wrong really, it's just to be aware of those macrons. If you have it written down as a room name, you could put the macrons over top. Tui, tui. Ru, ru. Ru, ru, the Māori word for more pork, isn't ru-ru. Ru, ru. So the R isn't like the English R that we would use in words like red and really and rosemary. It's r, r, r. Ru, ru. Ru-ru. And it's not ru-ru, it's ru-ru. This is the word for albatross, toroa. No macrons, and this is O, the letter O sounding like O, A, E, I, O, U, O, toroa, toroa. Pū has the long U, ke, ko, pūkeko. Pū, so the emphasis is on the first syllable. Pūkeko, pūkeko. Also, point to notice there is no letter S in the Māori language, as you might have noticed on one of our previous ones when we did a hakamana. That shows all the letters that there are. There's no S. So if we're talking about more than one pūkeko, we don't say pūkekos or pūkekos. Pūkeko, pūkeko. So you could say ngā pūkeko, or you could just say pūkeko in the way that we say sheep as a plural as well. Now, Kiwi doesn't have macrons, so it's not really kiwi, it's kiwi. Kiwi. Now, this is the word for penguin, and it's very similar to the word for horse, but with the word for horse, there's a macron over this O. So there's no macrons on the penguin, so it's hoi-ho, hoi-ho, not hoi-ho. Hoi-ho, hoi-ho, hoi-ho. Kia. So mainly people say kia. So kia, K-I-A, is the pronunciation for the car, kia, but this one is K-E-A, which is the bird. Kia, kia. So this is E or U. Kia, kia. This is the word for kingfisher. Kōtare. Kōtare, kōtare, and just be careful not to say kōtari, because this is the letter E. Kōtare, kereru. So the emphasis is on the U. Kereru, kereru, not kereru. Kereru. And ka, ka, po has macrons on all the vowels. Ka, po. This is the word for parrot, and this is the word for night. It's a parrot of the night. Po. Ka, po. Ka, po. So the emphasis would be on each of those syllables evenly. Ka, po. So there you go. Hopefully you'll be able to put some macrons on your signs if you've got some of those in your rooms, and you could label some of those birds, maybe put some pictures up of the birds and label them, and see whether you can practice the pronunciation by putting a break after every vowel. Ka kite.